Okay, finally finished with this painting. And it is strange that something as small as this can almost just make me go crazy, because I have been painting on this for such a long time. I've been building and building and ruining it again, and building and building, and many times I was just ready to throw it right into the wall and just give it up. But I just kept on adding nuances, slowly in the end, very slowly, and I got it right. What also happened to it, when I started it was actually growing, and I spent so much time on it that it actually died in the process. So it became even worse because I have to keep changing it all the time. So anyway, I'm very glad it became a small pearl in a way. Even I am a little bit happy about it, and it is a patron painting, which will be given away to one of my patrons in my patron lottery. It's actually 1 out of 4 paintings that I'm going to do a lottery with soon. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'm working with 3 more, or 2, and then maybe 1 more for January. Anyway, remember to share my videos on social media. Give them a thumbs up, leave a comment if you like. There's a playlist up there, and you will find also link to my Patreon and my of course YouTube channel. Subscribe. So I hope you enjoy. It was a real struggle because as I said, it kept changing all the time, and but I got it right, and I just finished it, and it was such a release. And I guess that's the whole point with the painting in the first place. It's kind of the struggle and release, breaking your skill wall and getting better. And that's the whole thing. Gives life's meaning. Okay, stay cool until next time. See you around. Okay, new painting. Painted before, this onion. It's going to be cool to paint it with a shine down into the ground there, because I have a glass plate under it. It's also falling apart, so it has grown a little bit, but it has also kind of died. So I have to hurry up, and I'm going to paint on this canvas. So yeah, stay cool and watch me paint. So it's going to be canvas. I'm going to try to make it a little bit smaller than in reality. It's kind of would fill the whole thing here, but if I make it smaller, because it's a smaller painting, I will get more of everything in. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I often do. I often make it bigger than reality. I will here make it smaller than reality, and I'm going to do that because I want more of the room in, and I also want the shine there. So I have to, yeah, something like this, maybe up here, I think, and that the onion itself is like this. This canvas is 22.22 centimeters, and it's not that, it's good enough size, but it's also one of my Patreon paintings, which will be in December Patreon lottery. I will not make this video into a 3-hour video. I will partition it into different subjects, and right now it is a sketching process, And as you see, I just mark it. Somebody asked me a while ago, or all the time actually, if I draw it first. I don't. I just start somewhere. Start in the light areas and I start painting. And I just build the shape as I go along. And I also correct all the mistakes I do. And all the mistakes I do is then brought into the finished product as texture, overpainting, time, and all that. And it's a good thing because it gives the painting more life and more texture. Texture, color, overpaint will always bring more light, more life to a painting. So it is, yeah, it goes all the way over here actually. So you see I just mark it here and I will drag it down like this. And it's kind of a little bit broader, you see now. And this is how I do it. This is how I do it. You know, this is a very good way. And I use the background. That is also why I prefer to have a dark canvas, because I cannot just drag out like the opposite way. I bring out the light from the dark, and in a way it's the opposite of building or carving out relief from a stone, or building a relief from yeah, now I feel well, from plaster or whatever. I think about the paint as sculpting. So, yeah. And that is the advice I give. Just need some medium. Sorry. I also use the medium only as a way to, I basically use it to wash my pencils in between layers. I just dip it, dry it off, and then I take a new color. It's quite funny to work this kind of half of the real size. It would be like this, I guess, if it was real size. These paintings are basically over, it's almost $1,200 in a gallery in Norway. So giveaways on Patreon is quite high compared to what I take in right now, but I see it slowly growing, and my YouTube channel is slowly growing. It's very slowly. Some days I take in a whole $1 on YouTube. I'm so proud of myself. It's funny how that dollar means more than all the other dollars. Anyway, back to painting. You see what I do. I go for the light, I go for the dark, and then I just keep building until it's, becomes something. The nice thing here is that I get this shine in the, so it's kind of a double painting, because I also have to paint what I see there. Actually, I wonder if I'm gonna do two versions of this, one bigger one and this one, but I'll see what I do. Or maybe I do that at the same time, just for fun, just to get more of the whole thing in. Every painting is a different painting, and well, maybe I'll do that. Well, I do that. I like that red onion, and it's basically the last time I can paint it, because it's really starting to fall apart. So I used to use a mirror when I did this, but the reflection becomes too much. Oh, you can do that too, do both, but I kind of like this better, because it's the motif is still reflecting, but it is not kind of taking over the whole thing. So I use glass plates over what it stands on, so I get the reflection of all the colors, some of the same colors all over, and I think that was a good idea. I'm going to do some big object paintings soon. I have a bear cranium, I have sheep, I have my dead dog Timian, which I'm gonna, his cranium, a beautiful dog, and I have this bear cranium I just bought, and I have bear, and I have cats, and I have a lot of, even a mummified cat I have. It's so funny. So I'm gonna, and I have a fridge full of heads, sheep heads, and dead birds, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna do a lot of object paintings, and and a lot of figure paintings. Okay, I'm not gonna do the whole sketching process, because I don't want this video to become so long. I'll try to keep it within an hour and just talk about painting. I'll talk about my life, the universe, and everything, as I usually do. It's very hard for me to keep my brain on one topic, because I'm very hyperactive, and but you see what I do, I just go in here, I just start to mold, and I don't take much care about the drawing stuff in the beginning. I just keep it loose, quite impressionist, and then later I start to be more careful. And you probably, if you're a subscriber, you've probably seen this process many times. So I'm gonna do 3 paintings this time to my Patreon, because I'm a little bit out of sync when it comes to delivery because of some exhibitions and stuff. But I will really do my best to do this Patreon lottery for October, November and December in one now in December. So yeah, 3 paintings at once. Next year I will be doing it every month and get my schedule. Right. Okay. There's a lot of things that grow out of it. So I don't think I've actually done this before to make things smaller. It is always more easy to make things bigger for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it has to do with how the brain works. Okay, I need to get more electricity into the camera battery anyway. So I'll be back. Let's see. It's very important to build and you have to build the textures like behind to get that sculptural thing. You build very physical. Oh shit, it's supposed to be there. That can happen when you paint like me, because I also randomly, not randomly, but I mix my colors both on the canvas and on the palette, and sometimes I screw up, but it doesn't matter because it's oil. You can always paint over it again, and that is one of the reasons why I do love oil paint that much. Now I did see that this has to be a little bit higher, so I just move it. People ask me, how can you do it? It looks so easy when you do it. Well, it's a way to foresee the future. It's like your life. If you have enough experience, it comes to a point where you are able to see where different actions will bring you a few years down the line. Sadly, I did see it, but I didn't in a way take it seriously for many years, but now I do, so it's a good thing. It's called growing up. Okay, back to the painting. Anyway, that's what I tell my daughter all the time. Don't think things last forever. don't think small things doesn't have consequences, because they do. It's the sum of all the small choices we do that will determine your life, how it ends, how it evolves. So it's like kind of building the road while you are walking it. The more you paint, the better painter you will get. And that is true. Oh, 17 minutes for fuck. And go. So I got a little bit further. And what will be difficult is all these directions. You know, you have to find the right balance and stuff. But now I think I misplaced there. There I am a little bit. Because I had to move it a little bit. Now it stands too much. Fuck. So, got a little bit further. And just gonna fill in around it, do a little bit of detail. As I did say, I will try to keep this video a little bit shorter and to the point. You don't have to be, as I say, maybe in the beginning when you are painting, maybe it could be a good idea to try to get the drawing a little bit more correct than I do here, because it will give you less problems. But that is only if you are afraid, because when we are not that skilled, or we can't really predict the future like I can do when I start a painting, I can actually see how most things will turn out. In second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth layer, I can actually predict, because I've done it a few times. You always get into trouble at some point. Some things difficult, like in an onion, there's always these lines to get them to kind of glide into the background, and not be too stiff and rigid. But usually, and yeah. The most difficult thing is, of course, painting human beings. It's very hard to lie. With an onion, it's a little bit more relative, you know. But usually I go into this thing where I do start out quite loose and sketchy, but at some point I go into this manic state where I try to get every detail, and I exaggerate everything, and things really takes over some life in a way. It is a raw umber I have put on here on the canvas. And I can see in this painting, I could actually, if I wanted to do tricks, I call it tricks, really, I could let some of the canvas color be the foreground and the background. But I prefer to paint over. Could have let some of this be shadow color and stuff, but it's not really me. It's kind of a easy way to create aesthetics. Just get this kind of a sketchy feeling to it. It's not really finished. And it seems to be choices. But I like to go through it in a more holistic way. So the good thing here is that so it will become more diluted. So what I did now, I kind of painted in the whole thing, and then I just drag this over, so you get the feeling of glass. And you do that over and over again. You get closer and closer to how it really looks in real life, and yeah, that's how I go about. A lot of things coming out of this. But that is details I will go deeper into in the next layers. A layer after that, and layer after that. And yeah. Now it is just to make the griselle, as it's called. Rough, sketchy part. I need to buy some color tomorrow. You can also use the background of a pencil, your nails, if you have. And yeah, just kind of figure it out for yourself. Of course, there will be a light under here because there's light coming down up from the surface it stands on because of the glass and the shine reflection. Sorry. I really do recommend doing still lifes because they are such good models. They don't complain about standing in a position or doesn't show up to appointments, change their mind and say, oh, I don't want you to paint me anyway, because, yeah, whatever. Because he got a new boyfriend, or doesn't like the idea of it, or they didn't get what they wanted, or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So now you see, of course, this here is reflected in, and yeah. So next time I will start to do all the things that kind of sticks out like this. Goes in here, just one up there, behind. And then I just keep on correcting and correcting and correcting. And that is a great thing about this. Yeah. Guess this is as rough as they come when it comes to sketching. I'm hungry. I was training very hard today. Yeah, okay, blah blah blah. So also do directions, as you see, can be this way. It's always, I don't consciously do it that much, it's more automatically. So, yeah. I want that thick layer behind here. That explains the shape for some reason. Yeah. And this one. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very whole. It's fun to paint it a little smaller than reality. Really need to buy new equipment. Yeah. Also chose a more light background this time, because when I have colors like this, they tend to become, kind of becomes a little bit too much if it's just totally dark behind. So yeah. So light coming in here. So the leaves here, crispy stuff. So oh, you make it look so easy. Well, at this point, it's not that hard. Maybe I should make an object painting where I actually film the whole process. It will be like just a small thing like this will be many hours. It would be a fun experiment. I don't know what the limit is on YouTube for the length of the videos, but I'm gonna find out. Maybe since I have a abonnement, as they call it, I know I can have longer if you don't have a channel, or if you don't have a channel where you're not registered, you can't really post that many hours. But I can actually post, say if it is almost infinite, I could actually think about making a video, a quite big figure painting, where I post every single hour, and it's gonna be the longest YouTube video in history. It's like filming a trip to the moon, real time. Anyway, I'm starting to mess up now because I'm not concentrating. Yeah, I can fix tomorrow. I just needed to put in all the basics. You could compare it with building a house. You know, you start with the foundation, and then you just do the detail. No, it can't, because a house, you can't change the foundation. Here you can actually change the foundation all the time. I can't do if you build a house. So that was bullshit. It's like building a sculpture. Just move shit around. Yeah. Out of some colors. So just gonna so yeah, just let it be with that. That was almost 40 minutes, sadly, so I guess the video is going to be quite long anyway. Okay, here we go. Layer number 2. Now I'm going to use my retouché varnish. It's called retouché varnish. First, it's Old Holland. For some reason, I like Old Holland. Maybe it's because Rembrandt was And I put this on now. I can do that, sometimes I don't do that. But what I've noticed is if I put on a layer of eventualy before I use my usual suspects, my ultramarine, French ultramarine and alisaline, kraftlack, lasur to get more textures, as a person said on the internet and on YouTube, get the mystery back, and that might actually be a good way of putting it, because you get all the textures. If you see here, you see the brush strokes coming and everything. So yeah, maybe that's a good way to describe it. You get kind of this fresh, beautiful start, and just pour on some color. And we'll then let that kind of sink in a little bit. And then I take my, there's a problem with small canvases, they tend to be a little bit difficult to get really tight. What's that? And I take away, the reason why I do that is because I want to take away some of the medium, some of the oil. And if not, it's going to be way too fat. You see, I just get some of the light areas happening. And if you see the classical paintings, you can actually see how so, yeah, I think that is good, which means just wait until this has settled a little bit. I just wait for a few minutes and then I start painting. Yay! So, okay, I dried for a while, like 10 minutes or something. It makes the retouché on this and the medium kind of, it's still kind of wet, but it's a little bit sticky because of the harpiks in the medium. Now in the retouché furnace, it makes it stick a little bit better than if you only have pure oil. Well, that's my experience anyway. So, and that is what matters to me. So, but sometimes I don't. I don't know. You just have to try it out. It's just, this is my way. You have to find your way. You have to do it your way. Always makes me happy when I'm painting. When I'm not getting anything done, I get really depressed. Ooh, I get so depressed. It is like, painting for me is an antidepressant. And it's funny because sometimes it's so hard to take this pill to get started. And I get so easily distracted and stuff like that. But when I get into it, I'm just, I could live forever. Yeah. Sadly, I'm not going to. Or maybe it's a good thing. It's hard to know. So, you see what I do? I just started with light area, as I usually do. It's kind of a rational process. You start out with the thing that is closest to you. It's like if it was a person, you wouldn't start with the foot. You would start with the face. Of course, if you only have the foot left, you don't have to start with the face, but I guess you know what I mean. You have to have the rational starting point. If you're starting on a sketch, you wouldn't start with the feet or start in a rational place. And if you've seen other videos where I do figure paintings, you see that I usually just start with a touch, with measuring, like I also did here. I just measure approximately how it is. Usually it's usually off a few centimeters this or that way, but I'm not trying to be a photorealist. I have no ambition of being a photorealist. Even if I paint from a photo, my ambition is not making it look like a photo. It is to make it become a painting that is painted. I see there's a lot of people on internet, YouTube, who is painting quite nice paintings, very nice drawing and stuff, but it's so flat, so boring. There's no texture. They don't go beyond. They don't really fight the good fight. When you have made a nice sketch, it might be tempting to stop, but that is, for me, that is when it starts. So, and then you have to start destroying everything you have put in, all the nice textures, even the texture that pops out when I do the lasur. I paint over them again and again and again, and the fight is always trying not to make it stiffen up. And that is the hardest part when you go from sketch to more painting that you put in more layers and stuff, not to make it become stiff and a kitsch like dead, deceased. Yeah, that's the hard part. And that is why sketchy paintings, I think it's nice and I can see potential, but it's not good enough for me to call it a finished painting. That is just how I am. One can disagree about that, because when is a painting finished? It's basically subjective. And I do paint quite impressionist myself, so people who go even deeper than me, like David Cassin or Kazan, or these people, would feel that my things were way too right word, chaotic maybe, not focused enough, and sometimes I would actually agree with them, so not always, and that's the struggle I'm struggling with. What is actually a good painting? Yeah, I could do a lot more drawing and a lot more studying, when it comes to drawing, because drawing is not really that's where my skill hit the wall, and also in the painting. But I mean, when I'm painting faces, that's when I kind of see that I could have done more pure studies and stuff. And I will, because I'm 50 years old now, but I still learn like a child. Every time I paint something, I learn something new, and my brain is healthy, so I think I'm gonna be able to increase and push my skill wall quite a bit until I close my eyes for the last time. And that is my goal in a way. As I was thinking when I woke up today, it's like when I was young, I was kind of planning for the future, but now I'm planning for a good death. And when I say a good death, I don't mean dying in battle, but dying a death where I can actually feel that I accomplished at least something. So, you know, not really legacy. I'm not concerned about how I'm going to be remembered. I'm very concerned about how I will feel or think when I realize that the curtains are starting to close. I hope I don't die in a brutal accident, so I don't get to know and be present in my journey towards nothingness, because that's probably going to be the most conflicted time of my life. So, well, listen to me, there I go again, ranting, going off the charts. Anyway, I'm gonna keep painting, and I'm gonna go back to you later when I have done some more painting. Just gonna show you something. And just boom. See? Boom, boom, boom. Yes. Okay. As you can see, I have been working a while, and it's kind of coming along a little bit. Can't wear my glasses. Just gonna do a little bit more. I'm not gonna let it rest or dry till next time. And maybe go in and give it some more shadow. Be a good idea. So I have a good starting point next time. Now there is none. So I've become a little bit long-sighted. It's quite annoying. My vision was just totally perfect until not so long ago. I guess it comes with age. My father has the same thing. Perfect sight, and then he gets a little bit short-sighted. Or long-sighted, sorry, not short-sighted, long-sighted. So I actually have to stand a little bit from it to get a clear picture. Anyway, doesn't matter that much. It's a little bit annoying. I'll operate on my eyes. I mean, risk that I... Now, if there is anything I would fear, I think it is go blind. Yeah, because I love music, I love rhythm. But I think I could live with not hearing, but not seeing, living in darkness. That would be crazy. I don't think I would have handled that well. So I need a smaller pencil. I mean, if I was deaf, I could paint. I could do other things also if I was blind. I don't know. But I have to experience that. It would be a tragedy. Yeah. My father just turned 80, and we were joking, congratulated him, not just on his birthday, but also beating the odds. You know, the average age in Norway is about 79 or 80 years for men. I think it's 79 or something like that. So he is he won. So that's fun. He's a healthy guy, so he has some good years left, I think. Sure hope so. I mean, my parents is the ones I'm very sure about, that I love. Then I have my daughter, and I have my brother, which is the closest people to me. True blood, anyway. And then I have some really good friends. I don't have a girlfriend, but I have my share. So, anyway, back to painting. Yeah, you see how I build, no doubt. I mean, I've been saying this so many times now in my videos, how I do it, and there are people who kind of continues answer me the same question over and over. And I think I'm just gonna make some videos, topic videos, shorter ones, a series where I cover things like what kind of oil I use, what kind of brushes and stuff, and maybe just have it in one big video or many small ones. I don't know what's best, so I don't have to answer the same question over and over again. I think it's nice that people are leaving a comment and also ask me about painting stuff, but it's very time consuming for me to having to answer questions over and over again, so it can be a good thing to have a very good how-to video. And I do have some, but apparently it isn't enough for people. And yeah. Now it slows down. You see, now the painting process is kind of slowing down. It takes more time to see these things. Yeah, these shadows are really fun. It's gonna be nice to work with. Kind of shadows from these comes in here. Actually, there are two ways you can do it. You can actually paint them in, like I did now, or you can actually wait until you have painted a whole surface and just make a lasur right over it in a way. I'm gonna do both. So I'm gonna loosen it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna move it a little bit. I'm gonna kind of do it a little bit more subtle. A little bit more subtle. So when I get down to the end, I will go in and put some lasur over it. So, and then you get the effect that Rembrandt has in the Night Watch, where the spear is kind of, the shadow is falling on the dress. Because the texture under the dress, under the shadow, is the same as... Now, I haven't seen that painting yet, actually, in reality, and it's ridiculous because it's one of the paintings that I hold up as one of the world's best. But I've seen some very good repos of it. Of course, it's not as to see a painting in real life, by far, but it gives you a certain idea. And I've seen a lot of other Rembrandt paintings. I had to move that shadow a little bit. So I basically know what he's doing. I was shocked actually when I saw Van Gogh the first time. Not the first time actually, because I didn't understand it the first time. That was in 91, I think. I was in Paris and saw it. Then I saw them again a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, like 5, and I was just, whoa, I realized that this isn't about the motifs, this is about the painting. You can just see his personality coming right out into the brushstroke, and the way he's used color is so beautiful. But you have to have an understanding of painting to do it. So to really understand it, I think, maybe. Hard to say actually, because I can't be other people, so I can only speculate. But actually, I couldn't see it in the beginning because I didn't understand paint, the aesthetics, the depth of how I is defined in every choice I make in this small, insignificant onion produced by a 50-year-old baby boy in Norway. Anyway, So I'm gonna stop now. I'm just gonna let it dry because it's starting to become a mess. And we don't want a mess. Yeah. Made it a little bit too far out there. Probably a little bit too far out here. So I have to rein it in again. That is very typical. You start moving stuff and you forget to watch out for what you're doing, and boom, you have a problem. Now just sort of loose that up a little bit. And you know, all the brushstrokes of Van Gogh is like he's just grabbed the color and he's just done like this, and you see the colors kind of they are put onto in relationship to one another, and then he has done like so. The whole thing starts to bubble with life. And in some areas I use the same techniques myself. It depends exactly what I'm doing. But it's really amazing when you start to figure out these things. So yeah. Funny how I really feel I'm talking to somebody. I'm alone here, but I'm kind of talking to someone. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna let it be. It doesn't matter. It's hard to tear myself away from it when you come to this point, because you go into this flow and it's really hard to kind of snap out of it. So, yeah. But it's so full of paint now. It's kind of meaningless to keep going. I'm just gonna fuck it up even more. It's not that it matters because it's just a sketch, but it's annoying that I didn't get the whole thing actually, because there's so much happening down here. But I have so much to do. Maybe I won't paint it one more of this, because maybe I paint it when it's dry. Totally dried out. Of course, this is reflected in the glass. So you just have to, but it's never the same color. So it was a little bit warmer or colder or whatever. So yeah. That shadow under there is always so difficult, and these lines, you know, these how you round it off. Always difficult. Never actually succeeded doing that. It's almost probably like painting an egg freehand. It's very difficult. It's kind of a perfect shape. Anyway, yeah, that's the 5th time I say that. So So, okay. I'll just wait till next time. Okay. Stay cool. So, I have been putting on a little bit of eventualy. So the oil won't be so, shall we say, the oil or the lasur will have something to stick to. The problem is that this onion is actually falling apart, and that's annoying. So it has died and it keeps changing a lot. See how it winds up. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna see what happens if I put the lasur on right away. Lasur with a Z. Didn't know that actually. There's a guy on YouTube who asked me some questions and he used a Z. And thanks to him, I changed the title of my video to I used an S in lasur. You know, I'm Norwegian, I don't know English that well. So yes, I'm learning as I'm going. My daughter is always pointing out my grammar. It's fun. She knows the written words better than me. See here, just pour on color. So I have something to work with. I'm gonna work slowly today. Maybe I should focus a little bit more on the onion. A little bit close-ups and stuff. And then I start scraping away. It's too much oil if you do this. And the lasur is 70%. Basically 70% turpentine, and 30% linseed oil with some cobalt cicative or something in it. I used to use pure cooked oil, which I found in painting stores. Now I buy my supplies at KEM in Norway, in Oslo, and they have this linseed oil with some cobalt cicative in it. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit, so see what happens. Okay, I have one serious problem, and that is that this onion is totally falling apart. and it doesn't seem like there's anything I can do about it. The green has died, and the onion is just starting to fucking die. I can't seem to get it to stand in the right way. I don't know who it was, but I think it was some artist who said the model should make a bigger effort to imitate the painting. But I guess it's hard to tell an onion that. So I have to at least try to get it to stand like it is supposed to. Motherfucker! Well, I guess that's okay. Yeah, that's better. I just... Okay, this onion is totally falling apart for me in front of my eyes. It has just totally diseased, and I just have to... There's two options. Start all over on a new one, or I painted kind of dead like this. So yeah. I'll try plan A. Paint it. Or maybe I just start on a new one tomorrow. That means that my Christmas patron is off. Well, maybe it can be nice anyway. You just have to work a little slow and to capture the most. There are some green left, but it quickly dies, and that is a problem. Hard to see what is brightest, if it's the foreground or the background. My eyes are kind of... I've been trying to change my work schedule from night to more day and evening, but it's really hard and it's hurting my work actually. So maybe it's better just to kind of go with the flow and work when I feel like it, not press it too far. Red onions are quite difficult, just want to tell you that. I really like this onion, but now it seems like almost like a parrot in Monty Python. This is a dead parrot. This is a disease. So this is almost a dead onion now, and makes it a little bit harder because I was actually thinking this would grow, but for every day it changes both color in the green and shape, because it's kind of, I guess that used all its inner water and nourishment, so it just on its last legs. It's drying out. Anyway, I'll do my best. Give it my best shot. It's kind of a metallic feel to the shell there. Did wonder a second if I should just take a photograph of it and paint it from a photo, but then you have to change all the colors dramatically because it's very different painting from a photograph or natura. It's two very different things. Colors are different. Oops, my computer. Well, when I calm down now, I actually see that it isn't so bad. That has changed. I was panicking there for a little while. But if I paint it within a couple of days now, it will still have some green. And the shape, I guess, will approximately be the same. Kind of bluish, greenish color. It's kind of a, this is reddish and that is green, so it actually is a complementary color effect here. Also, the reflection is greenish, not greenish, but yeah, kind of the opposite of the other one. And that is, of course, to be expected. Not easy to observe it, but it's what it is. Of course, you have the other side. next year I'm gonna work myself out of being in constant pressure, so I can get my only goal for the future when it comes to my painting is finding some fucking peace of mind so I can thrive a little bit better. I am way too stressed. And it's not good for the painting, it's not good for life. You know, you are in a constant chase. And the one you are chasing are actually yourself. I don't have time for chasing girls anymore. So. And it's winter time now, so it's more difficult just to cycle right down to the city center. It's cold outside and it's dark. It's Norway. Snow. I hate snow. Can't stand it. Well, it's kind of pretty when it's just kind of falling, but it usually turns to shit. So. Snow always turns to dirt. I'm gonna try to be a surgeon today. It's nice with a mirroring because it gives so much space. It's almost like it becomes a whole picture when you do that. See how I work? Kind of mixing the color on the canvas. Trying to figure out, it's always the same thing. Just try to figure out the right hue by basically mixing it on the canvas. Some fruit flies, because there's a fruit store up over me. I mean, how the hell do they survive during winter time? Weird. My hips are cracking. What a life. Much brighter here. You may wonder why one has to have more than one layer. For some reason it isn't possible to build everything in one layer, even if I paint over every layer, which I do, because there's something to do with the substance. It is giving more and more substance, or there's something, it's almost like what's underneath is shining through. It's not shining through, but it's affecting the texture and the substance of the surface that appears when you paint over. It's strange. It's almost like there are some laws of physics that say you have to have so many overpaints until. Did a mistake. Of course I did a mistake. I made it too round. Okay. I'm gonna cut the camera for a while and just paint. It's too strong, so I do like this. Integrate it into that, and then I will lift it up again later. Yeah, okay. Okay. Guess I'm doing some progress. I was almost at the point where I want to drop it, and I may still get there, but I'll see. It becomes more difficult than I imagined. So flat. I don't know how to fix the problem. There's a lot of stuff happening in this, and I realized that to make it work, I need to just calm down, take it slow, little by little. Light, maybe. So much happening down here too. Need to take it slowly, because when I'm hounced up, it will start to explain a little bit. Give it more room. It's funny how these small still lifes can totally take over. This one here. detail into this before it's finished. I know this now, that is going to be one hell of a fight. Sometimes you think that things are going to be a little bit easy, and then you kind of hit the wall and realize the opposite. And that's fine, that's how it is. Yeah, I'm very tired, so I'm just gonna stop. Really see straight right now, so oops. Yeah. I'm just going to let it dry a little bit, and I'm going to do another layer. So if I do some more on this, I have already put on the vanish. So we're just gonna do a little layer of my lazuli. Not much. I'm not. A little bit careful now, not too much, because I'm getting into more detail. I don't need to shake it up too much. This is the red, I need some more blue. And yeah. Same thing. Go red, get some texture. You see I use a little bit less color now because I don't want it to absorb too much color. Still not sure about this painting, so I'll see what happens. I might just start over, top it. Sometimes I do that if I feel that I can't get a motif to come alive. Fuck. But usually I'm able to tweak it and twinkle it until it becomes nice. We'll see. I was very enthusiastic in the start, but then I saw that the onion died very fast and it turned from the green to more yellow stuff. And the red in the onion is extremely difficult to get right compared to the background. That's what I call the skill wall. You meet that wall. You can't really figure out where to go. And then in a way you are losing the drive. But then again, if you always, without a fight, just stop painting on stuff when it becomes difficult, you will never become a better painter. So I can also see it as a challenge, trying to get it right. Yeah, I'm printing some. Yeah, boom boom. Printing some prints to my. I'm gonna paint a couple of young girls' portraits. Two sisters, which I'm also gonna make videos of. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so this behind here is much brighter. Not concentrating now anyway, so I need to use this flat pencil to get it, drag the color into one another. I drag it like this, then turn the other way, drag like this. I also have this background here. It's very quite subtle, so if I can get that subtle feeling into it in the end and manage to keep the shape, I think I will be relatively pleased with it. And if not, I will just take it off the canvas and then fucking burn it and see what happens. Yeah, see. You get into that kind of trouble and you don't really feel that you are getting where you want. It's very easy to use incredibly amount of time on such a small painting. frustration is just... Ooh. I was actually criticizing on Facebook the Norwegian chess player, the guy who is a world champion, because he was grumpy all the time when he wasn't doing well, and I said, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you, it's just a game, you know. But then I was thinking hindsight, and I know how extremely frustrated I can become because of something like this, and how unfair actually were to him, because I mean, he's doing the world championship. There are millions of there are a lot of money at stake, and it's a lot of high stakes when it comes to business, and how legacy, and probably hates to lose. And this is just a small painting, so I mean, I don't think I should have said that, because, but then again, a sore loser isn't that charming, so. If I can manage to get in all the small details and go into this, it can actually become quite nice, I think. So that's what I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna stay home and paint and not go to the gym. Some days if I get frustrated, I go to the gym and I train way too hard, and it taps me for even more energy. What I should do is kind of turn it on its head. That is basically what I need to do. I need to put the painting first, and then look at my training as a bonus, something I do when I have done all the other stuff. If I do that, I'll actually spend more time. For me, training has always been antidepressant, but also a thing that I've been addicted to. And if I don't do it, I get quite irritable, anxious. But if I can also focus on a paint and use the same amount of energy there, I function quite well. So training shouldn't be a problem. This is what is important. Nobody's going to remember me for, oh, he spent 1/3 of his life sleeping and 1/3 in the gym. I mean, and he ruined his hips and need a operation for arthritis. It's ridiculous. So, There are so many paintings I want to do before I close my eyes. This is that book, How to Think Slowly or whatever. Thinking slowly. That is what I need to teach myself. I need to calm the fuck down. See, I go in here and it's almost like doing the charcoal. You know, all the charcoal like this. And this is some of all the Suddenly I had this feeling that I might be able to save it if I can get this here round, get all the different shadows and light points right, and all the different things with a very small pencil. I want to keep some of the green, and most of it has disappeared now, sadly. But I want to keep what I put in there and just work with that. So I might be able to save it. That would be a good thing. Because when you save stuff and you work with it, go deep into it, fight a good fight, become a better painter. That is why this swoosh whoosh sketches doesn't really bring you all the way down to this level. It just keeps you on the surface, the easy surface. It's like a drug, you know. It's a fast way to get into bliss. But you never go down to this level where you have to go into deep, deep, deep flow and really, really concentrate to get it right. Every nuance I put on here, every single thing that I put in the back here, will at the end create textures that will give life to the surface. And the background surface is just as important as the foreground, because the kind of, when I'm looking at the motif, it looks good, so it's something I'm not getting, and if I can get that into what I see in here, it will look nice. And if I don't get it, if I fail, I fail. And I fail because I'm not good enough, or because I didn't focus. There's no other reason I fail. That is extremely important to be honest about, and not say, there's something wrong with the motif or something. No, it was me. My capability of solving these problems wasn't good enough. That was my skill wall. And I shouldn't accept that. I see on YouTube there's some nice paintings there of onions, but they usually are only doing the sketch part. They do not give it a substance. And I demand some substance. can't have the same color or the same neons of the same color in the background as in. So I need to tone down this yellowish, and I will bring it up a little bit because down here is more warm. And I will bring it up there, and here too is kind of, it's warmer, and then it kind of glides right into the onion. Some are the same colors actually, but of course it's a little bit difference in the neons that will create the difference between the onion and the background. Can be neons in color, can be in light, can be in, they're almost the same. And that is what makes it so hard, because that you can't really pinpoint exactly where things go over to the background. I'm not sure if this is darker or the background is darker. So it's almost the same, it's just different colors and different, yeah. So that is why this is so difficult. So now you know. Yeah. Okay, well, there's one good thing here, because it has this kind of strong. So funny, I've been painting this exactly use the same background and these yellowish things here so many times in other paintings. It's like, it's my favorite background, this yellowish thing goes here. It kind of explains the room. So okay. Well, I can't film the whole thing. What I can say is that's why I should just do some 20-hour streaming on YouTube. Just can have let it go through my computer, then I can have a laptop beside me, and if people want to ask me questions, I can talk to my audience while I'm painting. That could be cool. A couple of times a month or something, different paintings. Yeah, that would be a good idea. To ask me anything, stream. How big is your penis? Certain things that I should stay with me. Anyway, yeah, now it's hard. I was getting into it now. It's hard to tear myself away. Yeah, I think I want to manage to save this. Hope, hope, hope. But I really need to get into the details. Okie dokie dokie. Been working with the details for a long time and kind of getting somewhere. I think I can save it, hopefully. It's all about getting all these nice details in. So just continue doing that. And it's also about the rounding of the edges and the right colors. See here. And these shadows, they're kind of a reflection of this down there. It's quite, when you clean your eyes like that, it's not, I actually didn't see it until I had painted on the painting for a while, and that is because there's a lot of kind of noise on top of it, like this, from the glass it's on. So get more pushed down into the surface. If it was a mirror, it would be more the same, but this is a glass plate or whatever you call it. So, and it also twists the, well, not that much actually, it kind of twists the shapes a little bit for some reason. Well, it's almost the same, so we just have to work on that to get this. And since this is a very difficult painting, it's a lot that is happening in it. I really need to center every detail quite well, which means this painting takes a hell of a lot of time to do. And yeah. It's funny because you start to delve into deeper and deeper into the details, and you see more and more. You manage to add more and more as you go along. You start to see all the different things that's happening. It also has to dry between the layers. Kind of more like that. Things that becomes important is kind of the how the sharpness here, you know, between those two surfaces. Stuff like this becomes very important when you kind of cross over into more detail. So every thing becomes important to create that 3D feeling. Yeah. every single thing. The light here is now too much, so it comes out too much. Then I need to find the right hue, push it down, at the same time that I has to get the color right so it keeps its vividness. And so much happening in small motif if you really delve into it. So, yeah. Some more yellow. Then I do some clean color on top of it, like this. I can use my finger. Then I can do some more clean red. So I kind of mix the colors on the canvas. I actually almost dropped it today. It was just because I was in a strange mood and I had this feeling that I would never be able to get it right. But then I decided to give it another try. Now this is a Patreon giveaway, but the point is that I really like also my patrons to get paintings that that has high quality, or at least things that have quality is, I guess, relative compared to who's looking. But what I do like to is that I personally know that I really made an effort to give away something that took me some effort to create. Yeah. Hopefully I would maybe be able to finish this before Christmas, or I have to come back to it when I come home from Christmas, come to my parents and my lovely parents. Yeah, you see here, I can't really work out exactly where that line goes over, and that is also one of the things that are important. Don't have any lines, just you have to find a way to paint it as if there is no lines, and it's so hard. You have to paint lines as there is no lines. Actually, I was looking at some paintings of this German guy. It's very photographic paintings. Richter. Yeah. I have to say, some of his paintings are really nice. They are really, the way he has solved the line thing is quite brilliant. Now, he was a conceptualist, or was, I don't know. So, he might not have painted them himself, but I don't know. So, yeah. But anyway, the way he has painted the lines, I think is really brilliant. So, Gerhard Richter. Then again, he probably used a projector, and that doesn't really impress me much for some reason. The drawing is much of the hard part. So now there's a line going, not a line, but kind of a crack in there. So I'll do like this. But then I go in with my pencil and I kind of move the together like this, so it feels more natural. You don't want to have a line that looks like a line. Okay, I'm talking a lot about that, but so it has to be fluid and natural. That's very hard for me because I'm basically too much of an expressionist to keep myself down in a way. But I'm trying. See new things all the time. You just keep adding. And at some point, it is the sum of all the touches. That makes it full of life. Maybe I shouldn't have painted that. Just made it into a mess. And again, it's there, so. See here, how can I paint him? Evens it out. Give it a little bit more natural feel to it. The white can be a line also, you know. That is not what I'm after. There's a hole there, and goes up like this, goes down here. This onion has definitely seen its best days. No doubt about it, sir. Dampen this down a little bit. Some yellowish. This. Every color I put on is a little bit stronger, more vivid than in reality. And that is why I call myself more an impressionist or expressionist when it comes to the colors. Because I have great problems keeping things down. So, yeah. Oh, it's not so bad. It's quite cool. Anyway, I will keep painting and I see you later. Trying to finish this today. It's really difficult. It has become my nemesis. And some paintings actually do. It is, most of them actually should be. The thing is that, first of all, the onion died a long time ago. And now I'm just trying to figure out a way to save it. When the onion kind of just started to shrink, almost shrink, it becomes quite difficult. I'm going to put on a thin lazur, very thin, nothing much, just to have a fresher start. Be a little bit careful so it doesn't mess things up too much. And I'm just going to try to build some textures and differentiate the different surfaces from each other in both texture and color and room. Yeah, that is basically what I want to try to do. I do have another growing onion and red onion, and I could actually use some of the brighter colors from that one. and that's a good thing. But if we can manage to just go in strategically now and play some nice brush strokes, just enhance it, could be enough actually to get that depth and stuff. Sometimes you feel like you set up a still life and you believe it's going to be more easy, and then it just turns against you, and it's quite an experience, and it happens quite often. So that's how to be a painter. That's how I'm experiencing this painting right now. I'm not really sure if it's good or bad. If it's, there was a time I actually wondered if I'm just gonna dump it, the whole thing, and start all over again. But then again, it is kind of a cop-out, because if you work harder, you go deeper, and you focus, you should be able to save it. And that is what I decided to do. Don't give up too easy. Just keep on working through it and see what happens. I'm not pleased with shadows that haven't got address, or that doesn't feel natural. I really can't stand it. So that is what I have been fighting with in this painting, getting the surfaces to feel a little bit natural, like these shadows behind here. They have to kind of glide into the background. You have to feel that they are actually hitting the surface, and so I'm just gonna pick it up a little bit, and then I go in and I push them down again, like you see I'm doing here. And then I can also work around it. But it's kind of a back and forth dialogue, and in the end it might fall into place. Oh, horrible sound was that. I'm sure I was right. Well, I just started, and sometimes I stand here for hours and hours on end, and in the end I'm fighting with these small nuances, back and forth, arguing, trying to find the right hue and the right color and everything. It's really stressful work actually. So your brain has to be very tuned and very clear. I don't think you can't do this if you drink too much alcohol, you party too much and stuff. Your brain isn't gonna be able to work on that level. So be careful with that. want to go in between with some lighter colors and see what happens. True. So what was wrong? This. Pick it up so we can create the shadow right out of the wall there. If you see what I'm doing. It's going to be a little bit darker. Just going to go back and forth here for a while. See what happens. Now this is a patron gift painting, so I almost kind of feel the same responsibility to my patrons as when I paint portraits or commission portrait work, so it becomes even more personal. I didn't really think about that when I started the patron thing, that would be so personal, but I want my patrons to get the best I can deliver. So that's why I'm standing here doing all these adjustments and details and fighting that battle. You see, I can do a sketch like this in basically 20 minutes. Sketch the first, you've probably seen, if you've seen my videos, you see how fast I can make a sketch. But this is the thing that takes time, when you get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and everything just becomes more and more difficult to see. So yeah. I'm going to put in some bright color up here. I want some green left when I painted it, started on it. And I want to give it a little bit of a kind of lively green. And yellowish green, like it is. So yeah, there's a nice contrast to all the darker colors. Also a little bit here. Give it some more life. There. So. There. When I did that, I actually felt it start to fly a little bit, and I wasn't really the point. Sandrin. The good thing is that the background has some orange and yellow in it, and it's also down here. There's some vivid yellowish colors right there, and that's always helpful to get vividness. So difficult with my arthritis sometimes, because when I stand for a long while it's kind of starts to feel like somebody's chewing on my hips. And I guess that is almost what is happening too. So, and yeah, now a light on that there. It's better to use this one. The pig bristle, or boar, pig, I don't know. Give some more dynamic surface. So, yeah. So difficult to see what color it is. Drives me fucking crazy. Anyway. See. This is going crazy. Going just crazy. And yeah. It's kind of an accident, but it kind of could build on that. Yep. Wasn't so bad. What I need to do, make it a little bit more neutral. or the other one a little bit more vivid. Something exactly there. Yeah, and there's some all behind there, so. Yeah, that was actually starting to give some nice returns. Now I need to make the illusion of the glass here, so I have to push that shadows on the wall down, but also kind of keep an illusion of them. So just let that be a little bit elusive. And okay. And then I have to dissolve that again. So you have to go back and forth like that on top of things over and over and over. And I drag this over into this. You see what I mean? Just keep on adjusting, and in the end it all becomes quite elusive and it feels a little bit natural, but it's not easy. It's not an easy task anyway. So yeah. Okay. A bit of fresh color up there. It is like building a sculpture when it comes down to it. That is what I actually do here. I'm building sculpture in some way or another. In the end, that is what I'm doing. And yeah. And I'm moving about clay back and forth, back and forth. So I should have been an expressionist or impressionist. And I didn't have to worry so much. Oh gods. There. A spot of light. Right there. Strategically. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna keep on working. And I see you later. Okay. Many hours later, this is where I am now. And I kind of start to reach the end. But this is when it is really time consuming. It is detail on a level. It's almost like the eyes aren't able to absorb what I'm doing, because I do everything in stages. I have to just touch and touch and touch and try to get these things and make that round. And I go back and forth like crazy. The thing with this painting is that it's there isn't so much contrast actually, so I have to rely on much more skill. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of things that kind of pops out while I'm painting. Suddenly I see something that I didn't see before, and I keep changing stuff. The good thing is that when I started this painting, the onion was alive. It was actually before Christmas, so it was almost 1.5 months since I started on it. And in the meantime, the green turned into this crispy or dead thing, and the onion basically died. So that also gave me additional problems, because I had to start changing much of this from live to dead. It was starting to kind of fade, but it was still alive. And then of course the onion itself, because this inside here started to shrink, you know, it's there's less what shall we say, less water in it, so it started to shrink like a mummy in a way. So what I have here now is my mummified onion. So Knut Vikshåland is painting a mummified onion. I kept this green because it gives it more life. So I'm cheating a little bit, but it works. So I guess that's the only level that where I experiment. And yeah. I've been some journey. Very afraid now to actually go too far. So I will soon stop, let it dry, and then do a very shall we say, difficult lasure. think it became quite cool. I really felt like I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make this. I'm not going to be able to close the deal. Red onions are really difficult, I think. The yellow or orange ones are easier to deal with for many reasons. So, yeah. These are the things that I will do. When they have dried, I will go in. And I won't change anymore now, so I don't have that problem. And I will give small details a little bit more of a bang. Bang! So, more leaves, and there's actually a funny one coming out on this side, like this. Yeah. Now when you come to this point, these are the things that will kind of make it or break it. Maybe that broke it, maybe that wasn't right, maybe it was too much, too little. It's very hard to tell. So I think it was a little bit too big compared to reality. So it took too much attention. Then I just go in and I make it a little bit high. You see now, boom, there it was. Just calmed it a little bit down. So now when you go deep like this, it almost becomes a little bit surreal working with it, because you kind of, you're not working with objective reality anymore. Objective reality was the sketch, it was the beginning, but when you get into this depth here, it kind of becomes a subjective reality. You're painting, you're adding more and more subjective things to it. I make some shapes a little bit stronger, I make some lines a little bit sharper, or the opposite of sharp, just dilute them a little bit more. I put in some shadows like this one. It is actually there, but I give it a little bit more of a bang. So kind of, yeah, and there too, yeah, it's so difficult, this is. And the hours I spend on this, just standing here, going back and forth and driving myself crazy, it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, because when I kind of close my eyes and I look at the object, there's not that much light in it. And if I put too much light in here, it's going to compete with that. So in a way you get the opposite effect. You don't get more light, you get less. So sometimes that is totally correct, less is more. And it's many things like that you have to think about when you paint. this one goes over there. You just have to give it a tiny feeling that it's there. Not too much, not too little. Just enough. So it's kept alive. There are stuff happening on my phone. I think it's Tinder. I've gone back and forth with Tinder. I've deleted it so many times. Tinder can be so annoying. Yeah. Girls don't answer messages, and yeah, it's like, I mean, Facebook is bad when it comes to messages, but Tinder is just horrible. I mean, it's just, why is it so difficult for people just to answer a fucking message? And if they don't want to, just delete it. Just go away. Don't be on Tinder. Don't just hang there. The fuck is the point? People are talking so warm about empathy and being truthful and blah blah blah, but people aren't able to answer a fucking message. People are like this. They're only nice to you when they want something. And if they don't want something, you just psh, you mean nothing to them. Nothing at all. And it's funny, when it comes to me, I answer messages when I don't want something, and I answer messages when I want something, and I answer messages in a polite way when I'm ending something or I don't want to do, just be a human. How hard can it be? So, that is what I'm thinking about Tinder and Facebook and all this social media shit. Should never started on that. I started on Facebook in 2007, and I have an extremely addictive personality, and I spend way too much time on Facebook. I think I could have written 10 books for all the arguments, all the insane discussions. Yeah. Well, I hope you see how I'm working now, how intense it actually is. So, yeah. I will film once more, and it's over. Okay. Cool. Okay, I am now manning myself up to do the last touch-up. That is the most difficult at all. I did put in the retouché vernice like 10 minutes ago, and now I am going to do a very light lasur around here, damp that down with some bluish color around and bring out some textures again. It tend to become a little bit flat when you work for a long time, And when I put in the lasur, it kind of livens the textures up again. But it's not like in the beginning when I go over it with a rough brush and just pours in some color. I want it to have more address. See now, it's not much. It's just enough to push it down a little bit. And I also do it over here, so I can actually just get it back up again. It has been a very difficult painting. It's been extremely difficult actually. So, and it's because it changed, and I had to change it while I was painting, and reasons like that. You see, I use also the back side of the brush to kind of rough it up so we get a more dynamic surface. You see now that now fell in, so this came a little bit more out. And that is the point really with the lasur, or the, as they call it, the glazing. The way I see it anyway, that you give everything a little bit more punch, a little bit more room. I many times wonder, because I can see that Rembrandt and other painter used glazing, I can't picture myself how it will be to restore the paintings when they remove valleys and stuff, because I don't believe that a painter like Rembrandt would almost slave-like follow a certain piece of rules. Maybe he put in some thin colors into the valleys or whatever, or the layers kind of melted into the other colors. So I don't understand how they can be sure that they're actually removing dirt and not color or lasurs that is actually supposed to be there. So, well, just a thought. Yeah. Okay, I'll tone down. It was very difficult with this because of this kind of the whole thing dying in front of me. It's a strange onion. It's not the typical onion, because it has gone through such a process, and I hope the person that wins it on Patreon appreciate it, despite that it isn't the obvious onion with the right onion cliche. I call it an onion almost cliche when you see they do onion paintings on YouTube, and you see they do these nice sketches of onion or some fruit or vegetables or something, and it's just this one layer, and it's kind of the onion symbol, the onion symbolism, and not going deep into the textures and stuff. So yeah, I prefer that things goes deeper, much deeper, into the place where you don't really know if you have ruined it or if it's better. You know, it's really difficult to know. Yeah, it's very difficult to know when you have crossed over into doing too much. This too much and too little is the thing that I think drive most artists a little bit crazy. But it's even worse if you work very figurative like this, and it is kind of small things like this that will make or break. It's a make or break situation all the time, and it can be quite stressful in the end, I have to say. But it's also a great release when you come to a point where you feel you can say, okay, enough is enough, and this should just stand its ground and it'll be good enough. Not good enough. I don't know how to explain it actually. So now there's a little bit more darkness on this side, and there's some more kind of different schatteringar, as they call it in Norway. Different nuances and things are happening on the surface. So some of the shadows are kind of darker and some lighter. And it's all about what is actually happening on the surface of the glass thing it stands on. Was it the movie Top Secret where Val Kilmer was sitting there looking out the window of his railway compartment, or train compartment, and he was kind of painting the landscape, and he was doing like this. It was like fartstriper, as they call it, so, in Norway. It's so funny. I just remember because I had to do like this to make it come alive a little bit more. Yeah. So difficult. It's just so difficult. Oh, it drives me crazy. People don't understand how hard this job is. It's nauseating actually sometimes how little goes into it breaking or becoming better. And there's also always another layer or something more you want to do with it. So yeah, I think I have a beautiful red onion that is growing, and since this died, I just feel such an urge to paint another one, and I know how difficult it is, but I have such a need to do it again. So I think I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna make the January patron painting into red onion. And I also wonder if I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, but I'll see. Since people have been waiting for quite a while for this patron lottery I'm doing now, I think I'm going to give a little bit extra maybe in the January patron lottery, for the painting for the January lottery. So, is this good? I'm gonna hate myself now. just going to paint a little bit more. I have to focus, I have to go into deep flow to be able to finish this. I can't talk much when I do that, and then I will come back to you when I'm done with it. So yeah, let's see around. Okie dokie dokie. I'm gonna try to finish this one. Been struggling mildly for a few days with it, and it drives me absolutely insane. But I'm going to see if I can possibly finish it. It is actually very small things. It is kind of these lines here and the colors. I can actually see some the thing is to get it kind of to breathe, and this one has shown to be really resisting me. I just kind of finished an apple and I figured out a little bit how to get it done. I'm going to do the same thing here. I actually lighten up the background, so it's and I'm going to do, and as you see now I'm lightening up a little bit here too, so the contrasts kind of doesn't become that big. That might also be the problem, because I have a tendency to go for as much contrast as possible. That is not always a good idea, because it can be too drawn, and in this I think that is why I haven't been able to get it right. So I'm going to try the opposite thing, and this is how you learn to paint. This is actually how you climb over that skill wall that I'm talking about in my videos, where you meet problems and you manage to go beyond them, and you then take that with you to the next painting. I actually think it kind of loosened up a little bit when I did that, and I'm going to do it behind here. And then if I lighten this up, I'm going to give this a little bit more light there, and that can actually solve the problem. You know, painting like this is problem solving. That is what it is about. It's basically a science. You have to learn from your mistake, you have to test things, you have to do them over, see what works, and then you have to learn from your mistakes to do the leap to the next level. And I mean, maybe that is also why I like to paint like this, because it is a constant challenge. You're really challenging your brain and your skill wall and your capabilities to get things right. And it is art in itself. See if I can manage to do this. Get more light in the background here. I think that was it. I think that was the solution that I was desperately looking for. do some. Then I also have to give it some texture. It can't just be. So you see now, the underneath can shine through, so you get more zzz feeling. Oh, it just fell right in place. Now I put on the Duché Farniss a while ago, so now the color is kind of melting into the Duché Farniss. I didn't put on any lasur now, as you might see. I just went right over the... Yeah, that was actually better. Now also dilute this because it's too hard. To get it more fluid and open. I really need to go to some big museums and see more of Rembrandt and Vermeer, because the key to great painting is actually to be found in Vermeer and Rembrandt. If you combine, that's my view anyway, if you combine those two, you have basically everything in front of you to learn from, I think, anyway. Yeah, wasn't so bad. Drag this over so it becomes more natural. Then need to that was a little bit too closed. Need to open it up a little bit. Like with white here. See, I kind of just mixed the white straight into the color that I added. Then I saw I need some more here, and then I just put on more color again. So this one also It's very not much difference between in hue, in color there are, but in hue there is not much difference between the background and the onion. So to find the right hue. It is also about texture, not just hue. It's about so many things to get it to come alive that it can actually drive one just crazy. Not crazy, it's bullshit, but you can take it all. So, see, also sometimes I would just use my finger, and I can use the background of my brush. You see now it just fades out. You see this in the classical paintings, many places that I have used nails. I mean, Turner used to have long nails, someone scraping, and they actually stories about how dirty his fingers were and stuff when he came to the pubs, that he was always dirty and full of colors and soot. It's not that I want to be dirty, but not that way anyway. I'm a dirty bastard. Dirty bastard. Yeah. So, there. It's too much. That's the thing, it's so little that can actually make it die. And that was what I did, a couple of times. I thought I had it, and then I kept working, and it just died on me. It was so frustrating. Then you have to use one more night on it. Because when you work with these things, you might think, oh, it's so small, but it can be so exhausting when you don't get it right, or you have to struggle with different things, that you only get to do one a day. After quite many hours on one of these, you're just exhausted in your head, because you have to kind of observe so much and take in so much information. And that is also why it is so important that people who do art, or this kind of art, are very careful with alcohol and stuff like that, because it will be devastating if you start drinking too much. Your brain has to, when you have done this, it is like having read a lot of stuff to an exam or something like that, and your brain needs time to connect the neurons. It needs restitution, it needs the right food, like fatty acids, protein, antioxidants, zinc, magnesium, collagen, all the stuff that the body needs to build new neurons. So yeah, remember to live healthy. I did both. And it kind of had its consequences. Could have done probably, I think 2/3, maybe more, for the last 25 years. At least half, 50% more. But then again, when I work, I really work, so, and I have a stamina that is quite high. And it's a little bit lower now because of my hip pain, but well, it's like 50% lower, 50 to 60. But I'm going to get that fixed, so I'm going to get up to 100% again. And I'm looking forward to that, because I have a hell of a lot to do before I die, and I can't waste any more time. So, anyway. Be very careful today. I really need to be careful. Don't fuck it up. And this voice in my head, don't fuck it up. Please. I have another red onion growing in my fridge. It's beautiful. And since this one died on me, I just have to paint that one. Red onion is extremely difficult, and I will do it again just to test my faith. I don't have any faith actually, because I'm an atheist. So to me it's all cause and effects. I was talking to my daughter about trip. All the mistakes just becomes oceans and destroys our lives without knowing it. And it's actually the small, it's not the big parties you should worry about. It's not the big things, these huge differences, holidays and stuff like that. That is not what breaks it. What breaks it is, it's like getting fat. If you eat like one banana too much in calories, like 80 to 100 calories too much a day for a year, you gain 5 kilos of body fat. And I mean, if you give 2 years on that, you have 10 kilos. So in 3 years' time, just by eating 100 calories too much that you don't burn a day, you have gained 15 kilos. And 15 kilos is a hell of a lot of kilos. So, and the same with alcohol. There is the one party, or the one party every second week, or every month, or even every weekend, which is of course too much if you want to do anything constructive. It is all the small things, all the small drinking. That is what makes people into raving alcoholics. People look at alcohol as a source of food or something, and this is poison. And it's very important that people understand, especially artists, which has a, you know, when I was a young artist, it was like the art school and everything was so exciting, and drank a lot and partied, and you have more stamina also when you are young. You can push yourself more. But it takes a toll. It takes you down, drip, drip, drip. Sooner or later it will grab you by the balls and won't let go. So, as I tell my daughter, be careful, because you can't know what the result is in like 10 or 15 or 3 or whatever years. What seems okay now isn't necessarily okay. Basically, I have a lot of experience with that. I have the diaries, because I was writing diaries now since 1991 actually. Maybe I should put it into a book or something. It's fun to write diaries. I would recommend that, because you can actually follow your own development, which is very interesting. When I started out as an art student, I was kind of young and naive and still a little bit religious, like a deist, or today I'm a anti-theist, strong atheist, and I have the process in a way in my diaries. So it's quite cool to see. Start to doubt that God created us. I start to doubt everything. And in the end, God disappeared in a puff of logic. I think it was also the breakdown of my belief in free will that also helped. When I understood the difference between subjective opinion or emotion and objective reality, it was like somebody detonated a bomb, conscious bomb, in my head, and I just saw that everything I used to believe in wasn't necessarily true. And yeah, that's how you become conscious, a very conscious human being. And of course there's some pain to it too, because you realize that you're fucked, that you're actually dying. So, but you know, I think it's better to know than to live in a delusion. That's my opinion anyway. Well, that was also a digression. I hope you at least focus on my painting, because that is probably why you're here. And you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to figure out this motherfucker. So that was horrible. And I feel I'm on the right track, actually. So, I'm gonna turn off this and do the last things, and you'll see it when it's finished. Okay. So here it is. Just just as you know. A lot of detail, a lot of work for a little painting like this. Okay, until next time, stay cool.